Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Ben, and today I am out testing this bike on some ridiculous trails out here. We're also gonna do some high-speed testing, some brake testing, and some gravel road cruising, some pavement cruising. And at the end of the day, after we get all that done, I'll give you, my take on the bike, and we will check how much range I get out of this battery with all of this hard riding. So if that sounds interesting to you, stay tuned. Let's see what this thing can do. So what do we all got going on here? CST BFT 26 by 4-inch knobby tires, a pretty decently sized headlight, definitely puts out a good bright and wide beam pattern. Suspension on the front is not adjustable, but we do have a rather large dual crown fork for some added rigidity. Firm rubbery grips with a quarter twist throttle. 7-speed Shimano shifter, which is pretty common. This is a display that I've not seen before. Definitely looks cool. Not the brightest thing, but it does have quite a few different options here. Shows us current, time that the bike's been on, odometer, trip meter, and voltage, which will give you the most accurate readout. Relatively small and simple control pad over on the side here, and a full-length grip on this side. Then we've got hydraulic brakes front and back. Hydraulic caliper on 180mm slotted rotors. Same brake setup on the rear, and then we can take a peek at our 48-volt, 750-watt motor. 7-speed Shimano cassette with derailleur. Some sort of waggly fenders. Nice wide plush seat with a grab handle on the back, which I definitely like. Looks like we've also got a little bit of suspension in there as well that should add to the cushy ride that the 4-bar suspension here should provide us. Chainring seems somewhat decent size. We'll have to see how that does at top speed. The welds and the paint all seem like pretty good quality to me so far. So with the seat on the lowest setting, I will throw a leg over this here. I am 5'10". I've got a 31-inch inseam height, and I weigh about 155 pounds. I would say that this bike fits me pretty darn good. I could take the fender off and maybe drop this another inch or so. We can get a full rotation with the kickstand down, and I think I could put a decent amount of power down with the seat in this position. Of course, we raise it up a bit. That will definitely make things easier, but then getting to the ground will be a little bit harder. Due to the dual crown fork and the rather wide frame up front, we do have somewhat of a limited turning radius. Also, the display looks a little bit funny with the camera once in a while, but in real life, it looks just fine all the time. Woo! Whoa! All right, let's get this thing charged up so we can take it out for a ride. So as much as I like this display, it's a little bit hard to see in the sun, but we've got 2 miles on the clock to start with. Full energy bar. Voltage is at 53.1 or 2. I'll set that to current. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but hopefully I'll remember to tell you what we're at here. We'll start off in first gear on the Shimano 7-speed and pedal assist level 0. So this is just all me. Even with the big tires on here, it does seem like it gets going pretty good, and I think that's just because the first gear on here is just very low. As much as that's nice and everything, we've got a full battery to drain here to see what we get for range. So we'll bump it up to 1. Little bit of help there. Definitely appreciated. Makes the bike feel much lighter. We'll go up to 2 from 11 miles an hour to 14.5-ish. Fourth gear on the Shimano 7-speed. Bump it up to 3. Right around 18 point something. 4. Definitely climbing in speed. Uphill and around the corner, doing almost 20, 23 about. Now we're topped out on the Shimano 7-speed. I'll run me down. Let's hit a bump here. Ooh, what bump? This is definitely a very potholy road, and it seems like the suspension is definitely stiff, and I think that will help me out off-road. Now we're doing 26. That seems like it's about top speed. I don't know that I love this cadence, but I think you could definitely do it. There's some bikes where, I mean, you've seen me guys just pedaling like crazy, and it's not something that's sustainable. This I would say is sustainable. We will come to my tar line here, and we'll put this on pedal assist 5. I'll go through the gears, I'll use the throttle, I'll push on the pedals, and we'll see what this thing's got. Ready? Go! Ooh, just a hair of hesitation, but definitely picks up pretty quick and really kicks in. Oh man, this is wow, this has got to be one of the fastest ones. No way. 26 already. Hopefully I can see that when I'm editing this, but yeah, I mean, this thing is a very, very quick, snappy bike, no doubt about it. It feels light, it feels fun to ride, it feels nimble. I really like this bike. I think this is going to be a good time. On the gravel here, things are a bit bumpy, which you can probably see and also hear in my voice. I mean, I think anybody that's going to buy one of these is probably going to want to spend a bit more, or going to get a little bit farther off of the pavement than, you know, what we're doing here, where some of the bikes that I've ridden and reviewed, you can tell the suspension is just super soft and plush and meant for no more than what you're looking at right now. The setting that they've got in the front and the rear, I think are going to be much more geared towards what we're headed for, but we'll just have to wait and find out. It feels pretty darn planted and well designed as far as kind of sticking to the road and feeling like you've got enough traction to do kind of, I mean, whatever you need to, even at a rather high rate of speed. Look at all the spring foliage coming out. What an absolutely beautiful day for a ride. I think it's right around 70. What if we slow this way down, and I will kind of start at the 12 o'clock position with the right pedal, and we'll see when the power kicks in. Ready? Yeah, just about a full rotation. There's nothing too fancy in there. Essentially, it's just waiting to see if the pedals are rotating, and if it makes that sensor in a certain amount of time, then it kicks the power on. Once you stop, takes a second or two, but then it drops it off again. So let's see if the throttle and the pedal assist levels are linked. Kick it up to 5. I don't think anything happened. What if we go all the way down to 1? Oh no, it does drop off. So throttle and the pedal assist level are definitely linked. Pulling 18 amps, putting in a little bit of effort, enough to say that I went bicycling, but not too much more than that. 19, kind of at cruising altitude. 14, we're not going to be cruising all day though. We're going to be hitting some trails. Let's see what this thing can do. So yesterday I actually did a fair bit of pedaling. I took the kids out for a ride in the bicycle cart, and I was a little bit nervous that the seat wasn't going to feel so great to me today because I had spent so much time on a seat yesterday. But I gotta say, even though I've been sitting quite a bit on this, it actually feels really good and comfy. It's nice and wide. Oh, I can tell it's got some kind of lean to it with the little bit of suspension that's under there. It definitely feels, I don't know, like it fits the bike, I would say, and I certainly don't feel too uncomfortable on it now. What are we at for miles here? 24 minutes. 8 miles minus the 2 is 6 miles. Oh, and it looks like we've dropped a couple bars already, almost down to half a tank, but I would assume that, oh boy, that is voltage sag from me just spinning the throttle now and from the rather high-speed run that we just did for the last 6 miles. I'll stop for a second and let the voltage meter catch up here. Oh, yep, so we got 2 bars back. Along with having to test the brakes, the other thing that we needed to test is the wheelie ability of this. And last time, I knocked that camera off and broke my selfie stick, so that's my last selfie stick. Having thoughts right now, and I don't know if I should pull that off. I'd like to get the shot from back there, but is it worth it? Did it just shut off? Okay, well, that's enough of an answer for me. Oh, look at that. Now we're back to full bars and 49-ish. Almost 50 volts. So the trick is you got to time the throttle and the pedaling right, and also cover the brake. Oh yeah, no, it'll do it. I'm just being a wimp. Woo! This is gonna be fun. Let's check the brakes. Coming down from 26. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, definitely, I think, more than enough braking power. And I should really be mentioning that in the videos. I'm testing the brakes, but I'm not going to throw myself over the front. If you throw your weight forward a little bit on this thing and squeeze that front brake, I mean, it has more than enough stopping power. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. I mean, eventually you're just going to run out of friction between your tires and whatever surface you're riding on. So regardless of how much braking power you have, there's still some limiting factors there, of course. Now let's see what the limiting factors off-road are going to be. Probably my skills. Ooh. Let's see how these fenders do. Definitely got a wet back. I think I got water on my neck. Well, I'm certainly feeling confident on the 2-track here. Definitely a good bike to be up on the pedals. I want to call them pegs because my main content that I put out is dual sport motorcycle content. Whoop, here's our trail. Sanding up definitely feels good ergonomically. Really feels good going around the corners. Definitely feels solid. And like I've got all the control I would need. Woo! Up! Good thing that camera's not there. Yeah, so the good ergonomics of this and the proper sizing for me and it feeling light and stuff are definitely appreciated here and certainly are making me ride probably faster than I need to be. Like that the brakes are adjustable, so I was able to push the, and when I say adjustable I mean the handle position itself, I was able to push them both out far enough so I can grab the levers with 2 fingers and not squish the rest of my fingers that are hanging on for dear life. Brakes also have a sensor in them, or the levers I should say, that will immediately kill all power to the motor as soon as you squeeze them. So if you are pedaling or on the throttle and need to shut that down quickly, you can just easily grab the levers and that will stop it. Let's see how this thing does on the big bumps here. Ooh. Not bad. I mean, solid, but that's what you want out here. So I think that throttle
could definitely be just a hair snappier for me, but I mean, I think they kind of do that just so it's a little bit less jarring out on the road. I don't know, though. It'd be nice if you put it on pedal assist 5, if it would really just pack the punch right away, and like we showed on the road. I mean, it's not like this is a slow bike. It's just, especially somebody like me that's used to riding a motorcycle, when you hit the throttle, woo, you have an expectation of what it's going to do. So I think I did bottom the front there, and without any adjustable preload or compression damping, we don't really have a way to correct or adjust that. But I think if I come down on the rear and sort of distribute the weight, maybe we won't have such a jarring impact. Knock this down to a pedal assist level of 3, and we'll start pedaling. And yeah, that's just a little bit too much. Knock it down and try 2. Whoop! Scrape the pedal. This is not bad. I think I could see. Oh! I think that's why I don't like pedaling. You really got to watch when your pedals are down. Yeah, certainly more than enough power. I think I would maybe go in the settings and bump either the second or the third speed setting, whoa, up or down. But ooh, definitely a bike I think you could get used to pedaling with maybe some adjustments. However, I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with the throttle on the 5th pedal assist setting. Whoa! He's definitely a good jumper. Whoa! Ooh! Yeah, handles that pretty good. Suspension is, of course, not going to be anywhere near as good as a bike that's purpose-built for this, but you have to spend, you know, twice as much on one of those, and I don't know that you could have twice as much fun. I think once you're really into it, maybe, but if you're somebody that's just looking to get into doing a little bit of e-biking and wants to ride a few trails, I mean, especially if you're looking at 2-track and not this hairpin stuff where precision is kind of a requirement, I think this is going to be a much better option and make more sense for a lot more people than some stupid expensive top-of-the-line bike, which of course would be much, much better. But I gotta say, I'm pretty happy to be out here on it. I think if this thing just had just a smidge less delay, I think this would be one of my favorite bikes out here, just because the rest of it just feels so good. I'll shift that down into first here as we near the big hill and some equipment up there. What in the world are they doing? Just adding on top with garbage? So, pedal assist 5, speed setting 1. We'll get the pedals moving here and not do much of anything unless I need to. Yeah, she's got some power. We'll make it up, but I think really it just needs to be already moving before it'll really kick that motor in. So, I mean, that can definitely be a problem if you're going to be doing a lot of hill climbing, but it's not like I didn't make it up. And like I said, I mean, that is one heck of a hill. So, we are essentially halfway through here. We'll let that sort of even out. Time, an hour since the bike's been turned on. 10 miles, 9.8 I suppose, and 47.3 or 4 or 5 volts. Just one notch over half a tank. And of course, if you reference the 48 volt chart, you can see that the voltage that we're running here means that we have this much battery life left. And in theory, that should be more accurate than the little bar meter. Tires definitely seem to be gripping every surface that I've ridden on so far without any issues. Been a few little puddles and stuff, but haven't felt any slippage. Definitely would recommend this size tire for this type of riding. It seems to just kind of be the best. It's not super heavy like a 4.8 inch wide tire would be, but the large 26 inch diameter wheels are tall enough that they have a bit of mechanical advantage over any of the obstacles that you try to overcome, and that definitely is appreciated in a place like this. Ow! The only thing that's left is the big jump here. Woo! That's good on that one. That's not even the big one. There it is. Woo! very, very comfy to land on. I think this has got to be one of the most well set up bikes for this type of riding that I've ever tested. Definitely feels good. Yeah, I have not felt this thing bottom even once, and I guess I don't know where it actually stops, but you can kind of see the witness marks there from where this is compressed. I think you definitely can bottom the front if you really come down on it hard, but if you're landing properly, meaning you're soaking up the majority of it with the rear and then bringing the front down after that, I mean, I don't think you'll have a problem unless you're a lot heavier than I am. And I think I may have mentioned the grab handle on the back of the seat here, but the front actually has kind of a hard sort of handle portion there for you to grab as well, which is definitely a nice thing for having to pick the bike up and move it around. Well, let's hit the pavement again here, and we'll see what this thing will take us up to now that we're down to 2 bars on the energy meter. How about just cruising? I'm a little tired after all that. What do we get out of the throttle? 24 and a half? Well, maybe 25, 24.9, yeah, just under 26. I suppose we are going downhill, but that's not too bad of a pace when you've got, well, now only 1 bar battery left. 17 miles total, 14.6 for this trip, 42.1 volts it thinks, 15.6 for the current, and 1 hour and 44. Well, I've got to say, I definitely have enjoyed the ride so far. The rubbery kind of thick grips definitely feel good and give me plenty of traction with my gloves. The corner twist throttle on the right side, I kind of go back and forth on. I don't think the right thing to do for a bike like this is to put a full twist throttle on there. Of course, that's just sort of what I'm partial to from my motorcycling background. The corner twist does work, and I think it's maybe kind of the best of both worlds. It's certainly better, I think, than a thumb throttle, because to work a thumb throttle, one of your fingers has to be sort of awkwardly off of the bar, where really, especially off-road, you want to be, you know, all fingers on bar, if you will. Horrible all hands on deck reference. While it's maybe not ideal, I think it is a good option and probably the best one that there is for this type of bike. As much time as I've spent on a seat yesterday and today, I really like this one, and it definitely feels like something that I could sit on. I don't know why I ever try to show you guys that way. There's no way you can see it. It definitely seems like a seat that I could spend a lot of time on. I mean, it nice and wide, plush, nice little breather hole in the center there. I mean, it really is, I would say, probably one of the most comfy seats that I've been on, and definitely one that I wouldn't see myself switching out at all. Let's finish up the ride, hopefully under the bike's power and not mine. I guess maybe I should help out. Nah. Well, now it looks like we got a bar back, but for a while there, just being on the throttle, things dropped off drastically. I don't even know why I'm trying to show you guys this. There's no way you can see it, but it definitely, I think, is having a bit of a problem. And then is probably one of the biggest questions that I get on these bikes is how long will they go for? And honestly, I would trust what the manufacturers have on their website if you're riding under those completely straight, flat conditions. Make an estimated guess where the type of riding that you're going to do falls in between the factory testing and my testing, and that should give you a pretty good idea for range. Even on Pedal Assist 5 here, I can tell that the motor's doing something, but it's not doing much. What do we got? Ooh, 40 volts. Yeah, that's pretty low. This thing isn't doing anything at all anymore. This is all me. So, I guess I don't even know if we could say 18 miles. This says 20 on it. Trip is 17.9, so I think 18 miles maybe would be a bit of a stretch. I would say it probably conked out a little bit before then with all the ridiculous riding that I did, and all the majority of it was with the throttle. You know, I did a little bit of pedaling here and there just to test it. I would say I'm pretty happy with that. All in all, keeping in mind that this is obviously a budget e-bike, not something that is entirely meant for what I did with it today, this is definitely a fun bike. As long as you have that in mind, I would highly recommend it if you want to do some sort of, two-track riding, maybe a little bit of single track, but still, just want something that doesn't hurt the pocketbook too much, and something that you can ride to work or to the store or whatever you want. I mean, I think it's a cool looking bike. I think it seems like it's pretty darn good quality. Again, keeping in mind that it is not a top of the line machine. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure that I wasn't bottoming this out. It didn't feel like it. I don't know, how close I was to it, but for somebody my size and weight, it seems like it's more than capable of handling those type of trails. Not the most comfy thing on the road, but again, I mean, better than a hardtail for certain. And I think a pretty nice, well set up bike. Lots of good features that I like to see. Not really too much of anything that I don't. I have not heard any grinding noises from either of the brakes. It definitely seemed like they work great. You know, I did complain about the sort of slow response from both the cadence sensor and the throttle. I don't know if that's intentional. Regardless, it is kind of annoying and something that I guess I would like to see changed. But really, other than that, man, this is a heck of a nice bike. I don't think it's a bad option at all, and it's something that I really enjoyed riding, and I would say is worth picking up if it sounds like it's something that would be good for you guys. So if that is something you want to do, I would definitely appreciate it if you would use my affiliate link down in the description. And of course, if you are going to pick one up, I would highly suggest using my coupon code down there. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care, stay safe, stay swanky, get out and enjoy this beautiful world any chance you get. I gotta pedal my butt in this heavy bike home.